What up, guys? Total Control 871. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can get through this episode without gasping for air. Once had a young woman addicted to opioids tell me that pain causes your respiration and breathing and everything to become labored. I thought that she was just talking shit. Hold on a second, I think my light is on. It is on. Lights on the thing. I didn't turn it on, but it just came on by itself. Anyway, yeah, I admit I kind of rolled my eyes at her. Thought that she was just, saying things to get drugs, for labored breathing or whatever. You know. Years later, turns out she was right. In case you guys haven't noticed, I get winded standing doing these vlogs, and that's because the pain. I'm not cardiovascularly exerting myself, it's the pain. Anyway, today's episode is going to be about the McDonald's epilogue, the final conclusion, final update to the saga. The legal document that I showed you was from the very same law firm that represented the two black men that were arrested in the Starbucks in Philly. That law firm earned a lot of money from that act of discrimination. The men themselves, they got money for that discrimination. And if you haven't followed the case, I'll see if I can find it, link it down below. You can check it out for yourself. The insulting part of it all was that those men didn't even buy anything. And as I stated in my original video, I spend a great deal of money at McDonald's due to my homelessness. This is a hard video to make. There's a lot going on in our society right now. I can't even turn on Facebook or YouTube without just everything being sex assault. Well, I'm glad that women are finally getting their due. And of course, there are various other minorities that seem to be getting their due. But homeless people, American homeless, are continually left behind. Slighted, negated, and it is all under the pretense that obviously we homeless people must have done something to ourselves to put ourselves into this position. In certain circumstances, I suppose that is the case, though not all. What is it about exclusion that seems to captivate people so much? I think there are a great many commenters in the original McDonald video that seem to titillate and take delight in seeing the homeless man be kicked out. It is also my personal belief that this delight is derived from the fact that that video is not heavily laden in sympathy. I'm not a cliche homeless person. I wasn't pummeled. Because I didn't look gaunt and starving, perhaps. The point is, there was no emotional payoff in the video, which I'm well aware of. For those of my long-term subscribers, they know that I don't do emotional payoff. I don't broker in e-heroin, so to speak. I like to keep it cerebral and real, fact-based. Though I must admit, long before I was actually homeless, probably since the late 90s, early 2000s, I have indeed been somewhat fascinated with this concept of exclusion, how it seems to have captivated the American lexicon, dare I even say the world lexicon. For all of you kids out there, because every now and then I'll get kids come up to me, say they recognize me from the videos. Well, when your parents were still teenagers, you know, when reality TV was in its infancy, because apparently that's what a lot of teenagers seem to want these days, is instant fame on social media. Okay. Season 2 of Real World. It seemed to have changed everything. Somebody was physically assaulted and somebody got kicked off the show. Prior to that, the ratings were circling the drain. Hold on. Ambulance. Ratings were circling the drain. MTV was ready to pull the plug on that. And then, of course, the physical assault happened. Ratings spiked, went through the roof. They meandered with season 3, not exactly knowing what to do. Then came season 4, an HIV-positive housemate and Puck. It was Pedro and Puck. That seemed to be the driving force to it. And from that unholy union, if you will, not just simply MTV, but a lot of Jews in Hollywood that deal in media and entertainment, they then had their winning formula: conflict and sex. That's what they wanted, and that's what people were willing to give them. Since then, decades later, hold on, we got more ambulances. I guess it may have been a bad accident. You guys want to see? Bad accident, perhaps. All right. Yeah. So, like I was saying, they had their winning formula: conflict and sex. Who's willing to get naked on TV and be pixelated, basically? Jump in the pool, jump out the pool, run around the house, naked and pixelated. Let's start putting cameras in the bathroom now. Who's going to start a fight? Who's willing to start a fight? Who's willing to push the limits of that fight? Who's willing to get kicked out of the house? And of course, at the end of the day, the exclusion, it translated into fantastic amounts of money for a lot of Jews in Hollywood. And of course, the participants, they got their 15 minutes of fame. Humans are fascinated by exclusion. And I'm talking about this because, well, that's what people are fascinated with when it comes to the homeless community. Excuse me, the American homeless community. Because they like to indulge in the belief that this is a sect of the population that has self-destructed. This is a sect of the population that you are free and have carte blanche to discriminate against, to hate, okay? And let's be honest, even liberals seem to be on board with this. So we American homeless, we don't have protection from anybody, okay? Even the liberals are anti-American homeless, but if you're an illegal alien, well, that's a whole different thing, okay? If you're a homeless gay youth, that's a whole different thing. And I could totally get into the whole gay youth homeless thing, because there's a lot of programs out there. You got housings, and not saying that they don't need it, But without getting too deep into it, it does tend to creep me out. When people are willing to do something for you, it usually means they want something in return. Why are you so willing and so anxious to help these desperate gay kids? What exactly the fuck do you want from them? Anyway. So, exclusion. It seems to be big money these days. And of course, reality TV exploded from that. You know, season 2, season 4, Real World. And from that was the big bang of reality TV. You know, Andy Cohen should probably get down on his knees and kiss the feet of that black guy who originally assaulted the white chick. You know, that person gave you the winning formula to be a very rich and wealthy Jew. Okay? And we homeless get to be excluded. What do we even see it? With Survivor or whatever the hell, or the cooking shows. Even exclusion is in all of that. Reality TV is all about exclusion. Why do you, America, why do you like seeing people be excluded so much? I don't get it. You titillate in it. You tune in for this shit. You know, you gobble it up. Let's see who's going to get eliminated. You don't even care if it's a cooking or reality or sewing or a drag show, or all you really want to see is who gets eliminated. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like I said, the original video does not broker in a lot of emotional heroin, emotional payoff. And as a result, that particular law firm wasn't interested in it, even though I have bank records. I conveyed all this to them. I got bank records. I can prove that I spend a lot of money there. I had only been there for whatever reason. People seem to think that I'd been there since, 5 a.m. breakfast call. I'd only been there about an hour before I was told to get out. It doesn't seem to matter that white Caucasian seniors, actually seniors of all races, they get to go and congregate, and with their senior coffee and sit for as long as they want. People, the white millennials, on their laptop and mobile devices, they're also encouraged to come. This is violations on several different fronts. False advertisement. You're the one who invites people to come in and to use your amenities. Okay? I could go off into a whole tangent about Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. If you're not paying for something, then that means you're the product. Either way, bottom line, McDonald's is making money off of you, whether you spend money there or not. Exclusion, homelessness, the last minority that apparently the entire world seems to take delight in discriminating against. Nobody's willing to fight for us. We're marginalized, shunted. Because this is the last update that I'm going to do on this matter, and then I'll consider it a closed matter, much like our law firm. I want to talk about something. Like I said, my father paid a great deal of money for me and my sister's education. My sister attended a high school, St. Martin de Porres, in Detroit, Michigan. From what I understand, Pope John Paul visited there during one of his rare American visits. However, I'm not here to talk about the Pope. There is located on the corner of I think it's Joy Road and Dexter Avenue, perhaps, if I got my streets right. There is a granite white, a stone white statue of Jesus. Not terribly unusual for a Catholic church, Catholic school. It's not flesh white, it's not flesh tone, it's just stone white. Apparently in the 60s, a radical group, possibly the Black Panthers, they painted the head, hands, and feet of this Jesus statue black. Not dark brown, again, not a flesh tone, but the actual color black. Church officials restored it. And then the radicals came back and painted it again. And then the church restored it again. And then the radicals came back one last time, painting the head, hands, and feet black. But this time they left a note behind, saying that if you change it back, they'll blow it up. To my knowledge, to this day, that statue's head, hands, and feet are still black. So many people would like to think that social change and betterment can always happen with a rousing speech, a large march. And I'm not saying that doesn't play a big part in it, but the reality is, social justice and civil rights, it always comes with a death toll, a blood debt. How long can the American homeless be marginalized and shunted before the world will care? Do homeless people have to take up arms? Now, lucky for Miss Traw, my weapon of choice is this camera and my words. But not everybody out there feels the same. In the 60s, Senator John Lewis was attacked by police dogs while marching for equality. Black students and white students, if you want to be honest, were attacked by police dogs, and fire hoses, tear gas. Those protesters today are widely regarded as heroes of the civil rights movement. This November, women of all races are welcome at the ballot. In 2020, women and people of all races are welcome at the polls to cast their vote, provided they are American citizens. All of this had to come from a blood debt. Blood was spilled. Total Control 871.